Yep, good. Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long day for everyone, so I'll promise this one will be to the point. I'll try to really go into our strategy, but before that, obviously, I'll touch briefly in terms of providing you an overview of the trust and what we do. So my name is Thomas. I'm currently the Marketing and Partnerships Manager at Brentford FC Community Sports Trust. I've joined Brentford 7 years ago, whilst doing a master's in sports management. Offered my time, joining on a sort of work placement basis, and since then had various roles linked to business support, business development, marketing. So I'm, in summary, responsible for the marketing side of things. So comms, making sure that everything that we do is, visible and recognized by our local community, and more recently international as well. And also the partnership side of things in terms of our commercial relationships and fundraising relationships, and working closely with the club too. A small part of my role involves the EFDN as well. So I'll show a quick video which provides a summary of the trust.
The Brentford FC Community Sports Trust was founded in 2005 with the aim of expanding activities that have been built up over the preceding years. It gave us the legal structure to actually expand with new organisations, and more importantly, a canvas to be creative and to innovate with regard to engaging people through sport and education. When we established the trust, our main aim was to actually do more work, then try and measure the impact of that work. And we can really see that coming through now, whether that's isolation in the elderly, the young people on the edge of care, people with disabilities of all ages, children that have come out of school that need some help to actually go back into school with more confidence, or just building community cohesion across our projects. We have over 100 staff and volunteers. Many started as volunteers or part-time staff, including myself, and then we've seen their careers expand as our programs have expanded. Our people are the core of our organisation. Their skills and abilities and their dedication make us what we are today, and we're very much a family. We look to nurture that and to provide training and development from within and help individuals and communities realise their potential. Going forward, we're really excited about the opportunities in front of us. Looking at the new stadium with the associated community facilities that offer a whole host of opportunities for individuals and groups. And just over the road will be Gunnersbury Park, a fantastic canvas on which we can develop a whole range of new activities. The proximity of both the stadium and the park is going to provide a fantastic campus on which we can work and engage with even more people and partners. So the future looks really bright. We've built a family within the trust, and we're really proud of our people. We work across the trust and the football club to actually get out into the community. And our players have been fantastic in the way they've engaged. You can see their charisma and their energy and vibrancy making a difference to whatever activity we're offering. And our coaches in turn are role models that people look up to and become inspired by. And that really is the key to what we do. It's people-based and it's partnership-based. And we're looking to build those relationships as we go forward into a new era of existence for the club and trust. A really exciting time. Come and join us.
Great. So on this note, and obviously related to the topic of today, this video was made in partnership with University of West London, which is the most local university to us, where we recruited 3 students that took on a project to link to their degree to produce our sort of latest in 2019 at that time of overview video, but also they produced 5 teasers linked to the 5 main areas of the trust. So again, it just shows it's one of the examples of something that we'll explain in a minute in terms of how we link up with different corporate partners and the stuff that we do. Yeah, so in terms of overview as well, linked to our strategy, we align with the SDGs, mainly at the moment with the highlighted ones, but we are revising our sustainability strategy to see how since 2018, when we develop our first strategy, how that sort of links and what other ways are we contributing to achieve the different SDGs. Very relevant as well for corporate partnerships, where we try to demonstrate, and in addition to conversations when we speak to partners, how we can help them achieving their sustainability or help them, set up their first sustainability strategy as well. So that's something from our side that we offer as part of, corporate focused partnerships. As mentioned on the video, we have 5 main key areas of work. I won't go through these again. Everything has been said on the nice little video put together. But one sort of area coming through recently is obviously fundraising events and partnerships and fundraising, which is not one of the key areas from a financial point of view from 2019 previously, but since 2019, when we revised our strategy, we've seen really positive results, and is becoming an area that is forever growing and developing quite quickly. So in numbers as well, as mentioned on the video, we've since 2014 we've engaged with over 30,000 people. We worked across 100 schools, and one of my colleagues is here today, so if you have any questions in terms of schools, facilities as well, feel free to reach out to him and find out more detail about that. And at the moment we are proud to say that we engage from people from in the local community and beyond, from 18 months all the way up plus 65. So that's really key for us. So in terms of where we are located in West London. We work across 5 main boroughs, so the sort of areas highlighted, and the little marks across the maps are where our key departments work in those areas. As you can see, it's very centralized in the core areas of Hounslow and Ealing, where we work, our programs are delivered across all the different areas. And as we expand, predominantly our football development, our schools and community engagement work are starting and continue to expand over those areas. And just a quick overview, as is sort of relevant to the time, aside of the core areas of work where our work was always delivered over COVID, we had to, like everyone else, move online, and our strategy completely went to the bin for a second, and we had to sort of react and put together how we would approach and deal with the pandemic. After we've developed all our marketing and digital to support all the different programs, we start actually engaging with participants and families from outside those areas across the whole country, if we show the big map, and also people outside UK, Malaysia, US, and other countries as well. So we were really impressed with that, because actually over the pandemic our reach started to expand a bit more than just engaging with the local families that we know and we have those strong relationships with. Again, as mentioned in the video, 2 really important things for us at the moment are our new facilities. These are 2 nice CGI images. Unfortunately, we can't fly a drone in these areas. They are up and running. On the left-hand side, we have Gunsby Park, which is just across the road from the new stadium. So in terms of proximity, more than ever, we are right there in the center of where the club operates and where we engage with our local community. And just to give you a perspective as well, this is the first time that we have new offices right adjacent to the stadium, new offices as well in Gunsby Park Sports Hub, where the big park is, where loads of our core key delivery of our sessions are delivered. And again, the proximity of that is really important for us, because for once we can say and see what we do and have that connection with our participants. But today, obviously, we're talking about partnership and fundraising and the stuff that we do around that. So up until 2019, we've tried different approaches. We've tried chasing local partners. We tried chasing the big companies without much success in terms of obviously our expertise are not sales driven. We are not salespeople, so that's not what we do best. But we have expertise in CSR and we can add the value there. So after revising and a lot of brainstorming and finding the right opportunities in 2019, we decided to get our heads together with the club and form a more joined up approach. I presented this, I think, last year on the online presentation, so it's actually great to see people, because on that day I was just seeing myself on the screen. So good to be acknowledged in the end with constructive feedback too. But since then, nothing changed in terms of the strategy. So at the moment we have partnerships on one side, fundraising on the other. It's as simple as that. Within it, we have trust-led and Brentford FC and trust-led. So that means that we still have the ability to pursue our own partnerships if anyone really gets in touch with us, but we do want to focus and maximize our time by supporting the club, supporting the sales team, supporting the commercial department to really add the value from a community point of view. And that's something big for the club, but again, they don't have those expertise. So that's when we come in and help them putting together the presentations, the sales pitch, and actually making and developing tangible partnerships for those corporate partners. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's nice to speak to different companies that already have well embedded sustainability strategies in place, and we have great conversations and things get really creative, because these contributions help us sort of develop our own initiatives and complement core programs similar to funded projects by the EFDN and other funders like the Premier League. But sometimes conversations are tough, because sometimes companies don't know about sustainability, they never done it, or they don't even have a marketing team in place, and that's when it's quite challenging to really speak to them and try and kind of show how we can support. But this is again like when we do reach those type of moments, then we can say, okay, you can rely on us to come up with and develop your own first CSR bits and pieces. So I didn't want to bring numbers into here, but just to give an overview, at the moment we're forecasting on the side of partnerships just over 100k, which is great for us, unrestricted funding, and in perspective, the department is made by myself. So that's really a great thing for us as a trust, and really allows us to now develop it and actually say, yes, we are confident to invest in an area that focuses on bringing unrestricted funding and continue to strengthen those relationships that we have with the club. Quick side note, if you have any questions at any time, just raise your hand. We're happy to jump in that way. On partnerships, just over £100,000 at the moment. And I'll explain a bit more of the story in a minute. On the side of fundraising, that is obviously completely led by us. But over the past years, again, we've tried to work as much as possible with the club. So using the club's platform, obviously everybody knows the club got promoted to the Premier League over the past season. So we really want to use that platform and any fundraising that we do mainly to enhance the profile of the trust. For once, we have the right platform to promote our key programs, our key areas of work in match days, to our fan base, and obviously to the international audience over broadcasting on a match day. So any fundraising that we do, we try to link as much with the club at the moment. Previously, in the other fundraising initiative sort of sections, we used to find different running events, cycling events, and try to find people that were interested, understood us, and we never really forced anyone or chased targets in that sense, because in UK, it's very competitive in the charity sector, and we're always competing against potentially bigger charities like cancer research and so on, that their message is there and they have hundreds of people voluntarily reaching out to those. So those sort of fundraising initiatives for us, we always have a more sort of core people sort of joining us and supporting it. So again, to put in perspective in terms of numbers, that's also just over 100k at the moment. But what really drives this is the link with the 5 key areas of work. So we understand the practitioners speak is obviously the core speak, so social inclusion, community engagement, schools, health projects, specialist support, disability, football and development. But we found that when we were speaking to corporate partners, they didn't really understand. They looked at it and said, what's community engagement? Because I would like for my company to engage with the community. What's specialist support? I think I know that, but so we try to readjust those into more CSR speaking, which in a way was like our first time of kind of doing these as well. So we've identified those sort of 5 key strains that sort of link to one of those areas, and then when actually we present these to different corporates, they do understand, and there's a clear link there. So that really helps when we go and speak to a company, and they straight away associate, yeah, great, I know, I would like to, yeah, my sustainability strategy really wants to focus on empowering women and girls. It's really female focused, and that's where we want to develop conversation, and that allows us then to steer the conversation to then find ways of how that contribution then supports what we're trying to do. So this is just all the list at the moment of the signed in sort of partnerships, trust and club together this year. So 2019 we had 10, there was an increase of 3 partners last year to an increase to 24 total partners at the moment. The biggest challenge, and it's not a problem to say, is the sectors and the type of companies. Some of them we can really advertise and talk about everything that we do. It's within the contract of these partners that 10% of the overall club partnership goes to the trust, and then they have the opportunity to speak with us. So for example, the main sponsor, Hollywood Bets, there are ways that we are sort of contributing and supporting participants, but we can't really talk about it because of the sensitivity with betting and so on. So even like, for example, similarly, the local McDonald's branch also reached out to us because they have some budget to spend. So we do have, similarly to, I think St. Pauli this morning said, they have the, obviously, we have the right to say, yes, we want to do some work, yes, we don't, or we can define it. So it's not just because it's club-led and the income is there that we have to do something and then we'll associate ourselves with it. So there's a lot of due diligence in that sense. So, but for us it's great because the next slide really was our sort of partnership up until 2019, and they still are our partners, and they are partnerships that we nurture because it developed in a most natural way as possible. But as you can see, all the efforts of previous staff as well, trying to chase different partnerships was quite demanding comparing to the results. So that's the section of partnerships. In terms of fundraising, at the moment we have 4 key fundraising initiatives. One is a match day auction, linked to the club. The Bees community draw, again linked to the club as well. Kit sponsors, which is a brand new, actually came in just over a month ago. And Collection Pot, which is a platform that we will use to replace Virgin Giving. So to go into it, in terms of match day auction, it was something that we felt that it was appropriate to do, especially having in mind the promotion to the Premier League. So the way we thought about it was to, similarly to other clubs as well, I think Aston Villa did a great one and they had great results as well in terms of offering the opportunity for fans and different people to bid for training worn kit and match day worn kit and so on. But we had a successful auction last season, coinciding with the last season of the old stadium, And there's loads of memorabilia linked to the old stadium where people still are, there's still a demand there for it. So our auction will have its own bespoke website, Brentford domain, and sort of separated in those three main areas. So match worn kit, training worn kit, memorabilia. And that will start in November until the end of Christmas time. So there are many different approaches that different clubs can do this. We opted initially to divide in 4 small campaigns throughout the season, but now we actually revised that and actually will focus all the efforts to exhaust it in one campaign and finish off on our coinciding with the date of the fixture with Man United at home on the 24th of December. So that's an exciting one that we think will be very successful based on the interest and all the work that we've done so far. The Beast Community Draw is something we've been doing for a while, and other clubs I think also do. We've recently rebranded it, linked to the stadium as well, as you can see in the backdrop. For us, it's really special too now. With the new stadium comes new digital opportunities. On the previous stadium, there wasn't one screen, for example. There was LEDs and so on, and it had its special feeling. But for when it comes to fundraising and raising awareness and marketing, it's a completely different story for us now, where we can actually, our main focus is developing all the collateral for all the different digital opportunities across the stadium, which is really important for us. And again, it's a good way that we keep things in-house. It's led by us, and is another clear way that fans can, join in for the fun of it. There are prizes, and also at the same time they're supporting our community and helping us develop our unrestricted funding too. And finally, the kit sponsors. It was something that was club-led, so at every single matchday program there were specific pages where people were happy to donate a certain contribution to show up on that section. So for example, me as a fan, I really like Pontus Jensen. I would reach out to the club and say I would like to sponsor Pontus Jensen, the player. So there is a sort of package of shirt and shorts. And for that, I would get a private tour of the stadium, a signed shirt by Pontus Jensen's, a visit to the training ground. Could be anything related to the experience, and also opportunities like in terms of further support, where you can add your grandsons' names in sort of like laces sponsorships and so on. So it's something that historically people always did, but this time around it's led by the trusts. So whereas before the club would just take the income, right now we actually can say, by also doing all this and getting all this, you're also helping us, in strengthening and enhancing our community program. So it's a really, it's hard work. It's all about servicing. It's all about relationship management with fans and people and people that really like the club and support the club for a long time. But it's rewarded now, and obviously has a better and higher cause, because obviously it's all to support the trusts. So really, before to conclude, which I think we're nearly on time, going back to this slide, it looks really simple. It's all about focusing on strengthening the relationships of the club. We don't chase corporate partners on our own. If anyone has a chat with us and they want to do something with us, then great. But we speak to the club to see if there's a wider conversation to have, to be scheduled. So we focus on that. But the main drive of that is United Nations, SDGs, sustainability, and how can that link to support our 5 key areas of work, which seems to be very successful. And the side of fundraising is becoming quite more comprehensive now. And as a final note, I would like to just share what we've done over lockdown, where we didn't have those 3 main 4 fundraising initiatives. So one of them was an online virtual cycling initiative, where instead of joining a cycling event that was cancelled purely because of the pandemic, we had people all over the world signing up for this. They were cycling on their own. It was linked to the last season in the new stadium campaign, linked to a campaign called Farewell Griffin Park. And the aim was to, as a group together, to cycle 1,889 miles together. And obviously, because everyone was quite interested in cycling, we've achieved our target over the first week. So we kept pushing and pushing the target over the fundraising campaign. But yeah, it was really successful. All they had to do was donate a contribution to receive the shirt, which is exactly the same of the third kit of Brentford at that time. And then they would take part from anywhere in the world, and we raised just over £15,000 on that, where we weren't expecting to really raise anything. So that was like just a side note of what we've done over lockdown and how we changed the approach whilst being quite busy and supporting all the different departments in terms of the online delivery. So in that note, I would like to conclude and take any questions if anyone has any questions. So the Beast Community Draw, it's basically a match day draw. They've changed the sort of model recently. So before it was like the traditional like match day draw, where as a fan you go to the stadium, you buy your tickets, like a lottery ticket, you sit in the stands. At halftime there will be the announcement, and then there will be prizes and so on. But the company that we're working with, which is called Thunder Inc., and they work with other clubs as well and other charities, they've moved the model slightly at the moment. So we're sort of testing. It's proving to have positive results, but at the moment it works as a monthly subscription. So to subscribe, all you do is to go to the website, register, choose your monthly amount, and you don't need to worry about it. But the way it works is they have more rewards and prizes to the subscribers. The things that we are trying to work and embed at the moment is to still create that experience on a match day. So whereas before, you get a ticket, sit down, get the halftime announcement, and be happy about it. At the moment, that doesn't happen. Like, people get notification on their phones. So we're trying to embed that again by knowing the results beforehand, and then work with stadium ops and comms on the day to create the atmosphere. No, so our sustainability strategy is pure our strategy. So we literally reevaluated our business strategy, saw the core strengths, and then matched it with the SDGs that were relevant for us. So that's how we developed. And the first attempt in 2018 was to demonstrate how we were contributing to achieve different SDGs. So the ones highlighted are the ones that really are aligned with our areas of work. But then again, when we do speak to companies, sometimes we already, if one of the areas is already aligned with that specific company, sustainability goals, great. If not, then we can potentially find ways to achieve different ones. And recently we've done a river cleanup activity with a company, and that's something more sort of environmental specific, which is not one of the SDGs that is highlighted. So at the moment we sort of revisiting that strategy to demonstrate how things are aligned. No, so the overall income from those are 100k. In terms of how it works is a fixed percentage from the partnership that they have with the club is a contribution for us. But they know that they need to speak with us, and we need to come up with some sort of tangible activation. So it's not just here's some money and we're supporting you. We then speak to them and we make it work. So we have our own partnerships as well, but they are smaller. So the aim for this strategy was to increase the number of corporate partners, and to achieve that success rate that we had over the past 3 years, we had to work very closely with the club because they had the expertise of reaching out to companies, and it made more sense to work with them rather than us potentially actually reaching out to the same companies too. Yeah. Is that linked to the kit sponsors? No, so that's completely different. So the kit sponsors is like an initiative linked to the matchday program, so it's nothing to do with how the kit is done and the sponsorship on the pitch. It's literally a page that it's fan focused, and the fans can highlight key messages, their names, and they want to donate further to the club, because historically it was a way for fans to provide support when the club was not in the Premier League. And since then, fans really continue to support and support and support. So now we manage that. So there's no direct relation there. So we work with a company they call Funder Inc. They work with many clubs across the UK as well and outside. So yeah, we rely on them to do all the admin, logistics, and on all that side of things. We focus on marketing and promotion and making sure that, and communication within the subscribers. So we make sure that people are subscribing and they're getting updates from us. They know that what are they actually contributing, and we make sure that they know that they are part of something valuable rather than just a matchday lottery in that sense. One, myself. But at the moment, like I said very briefly as well, based on the results, we're now finally in a position where we can justify increasing the department. So I'm looking forward for December. So we're going out for potentially in the next 2 weeks for a partnerships and fundraising manager to support all of this, because it's really important to obviously service all the partnerships, and having in mind that we have 24 new corporate partners to service and one person doing it. It's an impossible task, but at the same time we work very efficiently with the club, with their resources, and making sure they help with us. The trust, completely. Yep. No, so it's actually quite well structured what's in place. So all the 24 partners, they are on the same bracket level of the club partnership. So there is a fixed percentage on that. So it's quite clear that all of this. Yeah. No, it's included on. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're giving up, because within the strategy it's quite clear that within that contribution, that is what they get. So that's the package that they get. So if you come, like you said, the 50k, which is the example of these partners, it's quite clear that it's included there. You know that you are becoming also a trust partner, and this is what you get from that contribution. The bigger challenge is anyone sort of above, where at the moment we don't have something in paper like that that says it's a specific percentage. But in all the partnership sort of like presentations and pitches and all that, we are a big important part of that process. So it's quite clear. So there's no, less or more. It's yeah. Yeah. No, it's a valid point. I think it's not a hit. I think we're just getting mixed in translation here. It's really an open, like, agreed strategy. So the agreement was that the club in 2019 came to us. Obviously, we had our same needs, and we said we need to work together. And for that, within the partnership strategy, within the partnership pitch, the trust is an essential part of it. So it's almost like it's not an optional thing in that sense. So it helps the club as well to convert more partners. So that's how the whole approach works. So for us, it's really positive. For the club, it's really positive. So it's not what are those things that the club, and I understand the nature of these sort of sector, that sometimes there's not understanding of the commercial side of things and compared to the foundations and that sort of relationship. But we're in a fortunate position where we all agree that between both of us, that's quite established from bottom up and so on. So yeah, we see it as an added value than actually taking a hit in that sense. No, there's nothing behind this. It's as it is. So I think we're done with time. Yeah. Thank you.